Patreon.com/the Walk-Off Podcast. $4 a month gets you in there. Okay, let's talk Danny Jansen now. So
Yes, please.
So Craig Phillips commented, "Does anyone see Danny Jansen playing anywhere other than catcher?" Um,
Ooh.
this wasn't a, "Hey, is he the next Gabriel Moreno who can play third base?" kind of a comment. This is a pushback on a clip that we had out last week or maybe this week. It's a bold statement, but the idea that we had, or that we had come to over the course of our discussion, was that Alejandro Kirk, is catcher or bust. He is not built to play first base. He is not the kind of hitter that you want as a DH, in my opinion. We're going to talk Alejandro Kirk in a minute, so I'll save the Alejandro Kirk stuff for the next comment. But the idea that Kirk is either going to make it as a catcher or he doesn't have a future in baseball, that's the pushback on Danny Jansen. So I just wanted your thoughts on Danny Jansen. If the knees start to go, if whatever the case may be, and, we're not talking this year, we're talking 5-6 years down the road, right? Obviously, the catching position is one of the most difficult positions in sports, right? I mean, there's probably 24 football players that would disagree with me on that. But it is not a longevity position, regardless of how your body is proportioned. I just want to get that out there right now. As a fellow big boy myself, I have nothing but admiration and mind blow it awayness for what Alejandro Kirk is able to do with the body type he has. But let's talk Danny Jansen. Do you see him? Is it possible he could be a first baseman down the road? Is it possible he could? Do you?
Okay.
If we're
So,
talking a
friend of the
renewed contract and he's a DH in the later parts
yeah.
of his career, is that an exciting DH for you?
So there are a lot to unpack here,
Yes.
and boy, we are really down the rabbit hole of
Hey man,
predictions
this
here,
is
right?
this is what happens when it's
Yeah.
January 31st and you don't want to talk
Yes.
about fake Twitter rumors. So this is what we
Yes.
get.
Okay. So number one, the only reason that you would Scott Hattenberg Danny Jansen would be a lot of bad tacos, knock on wood. You would need his offensive production to continue to improve on last year's, even though he had a stellar offensive year, probably the best of his career, smaller sample size. So let me put it this way. If Danny Jansen at 34 years old is no longer capable of being behind the plate, number one, congratulations to Danny Jansen. He has put together one hell of a career. He has been catching for 10 freaking seasons in Major League Baseball. So a tip of the hat to Danny Jansen if he's at that point. Yeah, I can see him DHing, or maybe he's got the height and eye hand coordination to be a first baseman. I think that that's something that he could maybe transition to. Again, this is all reliant on a team seeing his bat as a bat that needs to be in the lineup every day. If I'm a betting man, love Danny to death, friend of the show. I can't. Is his interview out or not yet?
Not yet, no.
Not yet.
Soon.
I really look forward to all of you being able to check out that interview we did with Danny Jansen. It was freaking awesome. He really got into like the weeds of what's going on with the team. And I think most Blue Jays fans truly have a soft spot for Danny Jansen because he's been with this organization for so freaking long. And we'd love to see him win with it. But would I bet that he is anything other than a catcher? I would bet against it. Where are you at? There's just so many ifs. Like it would need to be if this happens and if that happens. And I don't know.
Yeah, I mean,
Is he athletic enough to play first base? Yes. I'm going to say yes. Danny Jansen is athletic enough to play first base.
yeah, I would also say he's tall enough to play first base. He's 6'2". Vladdy also 6'2". He's on the right side of
Yes.
6 feet. That's what us guys
Yeah.
over 6 feet call it. I could say that as a
Mhm.
guy who's like 5'11 and 3/4, that I am confidently
Mm.
just over 6 feet tall, if anybody asks. Because when are you ever going to measure my height not wearing shoes? That's what I always say. So,
Hey, 6 foot 1.5 here, but you would never hear me say that. I'm 6'2" to anyone who asks.
exactly. So, with that in mind, uh, Danny Jansen has the
Is a
pop.
shortstop.
Yes, he's got the. In my opinion, he has at least shown the power in his bat is something that exists. Okay, again,
Mhm,
small sample size of like recently and whatever, but he the excitement on him coming up through the minors was that he was like an offensive catcher, right? So I'm just saying, in a situation where a bad taco slides into him at home plate and he spills bad taco all over his knees, if he's not able to put on the catcher's gear, but he is able to swing a bat, I wouldn't be upset if he's DHing at some point and we're just like, yeah, we get
mhm.
like 30 home runs out of our 28-year-old former catcher. Like,
And you know what? If that's what Danny Jansen winds up being, like if he gets to the point where offensively he's putting up 30 dingers, I mean, he's already got it made. It doesn't matter if he can
yeah.
catch or not, right? Like there is
So,
always going to be room in a batting order for a guy who can pull the ball and hit 30 dingers.
so this is where I'm saying Alejandro Kirk,
These are
not a
super high
DH.
bars to be putting on Danny Jansen, by the way. Like we're really raising things up. Like
Look,
I'll be so happy if he hits 20 and hits 250 and contributes at the bottom of that order.
yeah, I mean, I think the biggest thing standing in Danny Jansen's way is just his opportunities, his games played. And I think that is because
Mhm.
he is a catcher. And I don't think that's a shot
Yeah.
at him as a catcher or at his medical record or anything like that. I think that is just
Couldn't agree more.
it is a hard wear and tear position and it is what it is.
Yeah.
But if the
Couldn't
same
agree more.
situation was to fall into Alejandro Kirk's lap and he was to spill bad tacos all over himself, I have like no interest in a DH that hits 300 and
11
needs to
home
be base
runs.
run for. Like, yeah,
Yeah.
it's just
No, it's true.
so
Listen, I
that's the
agree with
only
you. I
critique
agree
that
with
I'm
you.
trying to get to here is that Alejandro Kirk, love him as a catcher for us in 2023. But again, and we're really nitpicking and we're looking for warts where we don't have to look at warts. This is January 31st to talk. This is all this is. Okay. I don't see him as a first baseman at 5'7".
God, I miss this dude. Honestly, I miss this so much, man. Like, it's been 10 days since I've been able to do this. I just feel like I'm just like I'm lightning as a human right now. It's like, oh, all of this baseball talk that's been building up. But
All right, so
I'm with
let's.
you, dude. I'm with you. So, a few things
Scott literally says, "I'm
to get
with you,"
involved
and
in the.
then we
Have
lose
I?
Scott. Yeah, we lost you for a second. You said,
Okay,
"I'm with you,
okay,
dude,"
okay,
and then
okay.
you
There
were
we go.
no longer with me. So try again.
So,
You, no, we lost you again. That's Scott's gone. There he is.
I'm
Okay,
sorry,
get
dude.
it in
Here.
quickly. We're really
Okay,
pushing our
let's
luck with
try.
this intercontinental episode. So
Yes, absolutely. Okay, so if you want to see the Danny Jansen episode, by the way, that is available to anyone on Patreon. All of our interviews are released the second that we do it, and I know we've got a long list of guys that we've interviewed.
God dang it, Scott.
Absolutely, I think if you are correct here with his bat, I know I'm cutting in and out, man. Sorry.
It's all right.
Long story short, all I'm saying is that yes, I can see Danny Jansen being very valuable as a DH if his bat is what we hope it's going to turn into, which is a power hitter hitting the ball the other way who slots in at the back end of the lineup.
I'm with you there.